At -71°C, the taiga did not feel empty. It felt like it was waiting. The old woman knew this path by memory, because in weather like this, eyes were almost useless. Then she saw something impossible, a mound of snow taking one weak breath. She did not dig at first, she listened. Under the crust was not a branch, not a trapped bird, but a snow leopard cub. If she left it there, the storm would finish what it had started. The first decision was easy, lift the cub. The second was harder, survive the walk back. The cabin was close by memory, but far by strength. The cub was breathing, but barely enough to fog the cloth around its nose. Behind her, another set of tracks crossed the trail, too large for the cub. The only warm color for miles was one square window fighting the dark. She brought the wild thing inside before the storm could take it back. The cabin held its heat like a secret. She knew that frozen bodies could not be rushed back to life. One paw was swollen, and the fur around it had frozen into hard little needles. There were no clinics here, only memory, patience, and fire. Trust did not arrive as a touch, it arrived as stillness. Then the cub heard something the old woman could not. The cub woke as if called by a sound beneath the storm. She had learned long ago, animals often hurt the truth first. Outside the window, something watched the light. The tracks came close enough to touch the wall. She did not know whether the watcher had come to kill, mourn, or reclaim. And in the morning, the snow held one answer. The watcher was wounded. At dawn, the tracks were still there, leading away from safety. The cub was alive, but every time the wind changed, it looked toward the ridge. Every print was a message. The animal had come close, then turned back. The trail did not wander, it struggled. Then she found what the storm had failed to hide. The cub had not been abandoned, it had been hidden. She brought back proof that the storm was not the only danger. The cub knew the scent before the old woman understood the story. It was too weak to run, but not too weak to remember. From beyond the trees came the sound that made the cub forget its pain. Saving the cub had been mercy. Returning it might cost her life. The kindest choice was not to keep the cub safe. It was to make it whole. The cabin disappeared behind her, one step at a time. The cub could not walk, but it could point with its fear. The storm was closing the only map she had. One fall could turn a rescue into two bodies under snow. Above the trees, the ridge answered. The mother was alive, but the mountain had her. She reached the ridge with almost nothing left except the rope in her hands. There she was, not a hunter in the dark, but a mother caught by a forgotten thing.
The cub answered before the old woman moved. A frightened wild mother can be more dangerous than the cold. The cub was the only reason the mother did not strike. Now the rescue had become a question of inches. The trap opened, but freedom came with a sound from above. The mother stood, not strong but free. The ridge had waited until the wire was gone. The animal she had saved now stood close enough to decide her fate. The rope became the only language between them. The drift loosened, not all at once, but enough. She had given the mother freedom. The mother had given her one more step. For the first time, the cub moved towards the life it had been trying to reach. No one touched, no one claimed. That was the trust. The ridge had given them back to each other, but it had not promised a safe descent. The cabin clearing became the border between mercy and possession. Inside was heat, outside was family.
Her hands had saved it. Now her hands had to let it go. The cub did not run. It returned one trembling step at a time. The reunion was almost silent, as if the wilderness did not want to waste warmth on sound. She left the door open, not to call them back, but to show there had been no cage. Mourning did not make Siberia gentle. It only made the truth visible. There were two trails now, side by side. They left nothing that humans would call thanks, only proof they had been real. Far above the trees, the mother stopped once, and the cub stood beside her. She had not saved the cub so it would stay. She had saved it so it could leave. In deadly -71C Siberia, survival was not always loud. Sometimes, it was two sets of tracks disappearing together.